I think the challenge for Ryan is that while there are clearly short-term benefits in this election cycle to him embracing Trump, getting the party behind him, there's a longer-term question, especially for Paul Ryan, who considers himself the conscience of the Republican Party, about whether or not giving Trump a pass on some of the divisive remarks that he has made during this primary reflects poorly on the GOP brand going forward.
Well, I guess you're not going to be giving anybody a pass.
Well, absolutely not. But I mean, I think Paul Ryan needs to consider his own credibility here. He has said, and I appreciate him saying this, that there shall be no religious test for people coming into this country.
He called the idea un-American.
He called it un-American. How are you going to turn around and say, okay, well, it's sort of American? Paul Ryan has his own integrity to protect, and I hope he protects it carefully because it is a long-term question.
I think he's already demonstrated he will protect that integrity.
Well, we'll see. You know, I mean, he said he was open to immigration reform. This guy wants to build a wall and build it higher. As a matter of fact, I mean, I think that the stakes are incredibly high for everybody here. Trump has suppressed press freedom. He has said punch people in the face. He has made open appeals to racism, and he has tried to persecute religious minorities. This is dangerous to the whole republic, and I think people ought to take it a whole lot more seriously. It's bigger than an election, in my view.
Okay, well, but let's listen to what Trump said about these campaign proposals. Take a listen to this.
Look, anything I say right now, I'm not the president. Everything's a suggestion. No matter what you say, it's a suggestion.
How do you? It just goes to prove that he even lies about his own bigotry. He doesn't. So he says he doesn't know who David Duke is when he 10 years before had denounced David Duke. But when it was in his interest to play coy in the Louisiana primary, he acts like, oh, I don't know who David Duke is. He's not even serious about that. He has openly appealed to banning Muslims. He didn't say people from the Muslim world. He said ban Muslims. And now he's acting like, oh, I didn't really quite mean it that way. He's not even sincere about his own bigotry. And that is his core strength, that he's supposed to be a truth teller and authentic. He's neither one of those.
Congressman, you're going to be hearing a lot more of this for the next 6 months.
Well,
what's the response?
Well, first on that particular issue, I spoke out against it when he made the remark.
And you were right to do so.
Well, I was right to do it. I read the Constitution. The Constitution is pretty clear. No religious test. Now, if you want...
But is it just a suggestion? Is he going to back away from this?
Look,
I mean, first of all, not only did he propose it in state and primary after primary...
I think more than most candidates, he is a work in progress. You usually know a lot more about a candidate because they've run for other things, they've cast votes, they've done things. And he does have a shoot-from-the-hip style, there's no doubt about that. And over the course of the campaign, he's already said some things that he ought to regret, and then I think he will regret politically.
What Donald Trump has to do is put into place states that Mitt Romney was not able to win. He's clearly looking at the kind of the upper Midwest, the industrial Midwest, the Rust Belt, where there's a potential outpouring of white working class voters. It's not clear that there's enough of those voters to really turn the tide. It's not clear whether he's going to be able to do it. And I think what is clear is that the Clinton campaign is going to do everything they can as early as they can to try to block his road through those states.
Okay, but we had those 3 polls, Quinnipiac this week, that looked in Florida, Pennsylvania, and Ohio, 3 states that Obama won, that showed within the margin of error basically a tie.
They did.
I mean, if Trump can win those 3 states, he's president, right?
That's correct. If he wins those 3 states and holds everything that Mitt Romney held, he becomes president. I think we have to see more polling before we know whether those polls are a true snapshot of where we are at this moment. I mean, if you put those up against the other thing we know about Donald Trump, which is he is totally underwater with Latinos, he's totally underwater with women, he's totally underwater with a variety of constituencies in the electorate that he's going to have. So if he is dependent totally on white working class and particularly male voters, he's going to have to do something to move those other constituencies in order to get there.
There's, another element at play, which is how his being at the top of the ticket affects some of these down-ballot races. In a number of the states you mentioned, there are competitive Senate races, and I think that's part of the reason that you're seeing people who are coming out and saying never Trump. For example, I live in South Florida. Representative Corbello saying, I can't support him, in part because he has a very heavily Hispanic district where Trump is toxic.